Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic back again with another big news update. We have news of reported heat on a big star backstage at Monday Night Raw for supposed preferential treatment from WWE management. Controversial stuff. Also, we have an update on a SmackDown superstar's injury, and finally as well, we're going to talk about what happened to the artist formerly known as Enzo Amore over this past day. So, without any further ado, let's crack on with all of the news. So first and foremost, it's of course been reported widely all over the internet recently that Nia Jax has come under a bit of fire for the actions that led to the injury of Becky Lynch on Monday Night Raw, where of course she turned around, punched Becky in the face, broke her nose and gave her a reported concussion. But apparently that's not the only Raw superstar who's having a bit of trouble making friends backstage. Apparently in recent times there has been a little bit of heat, I suggest probably not face-to-face heat given the size of the man, on Brock Lesnar for supposed preferential treatment from WWE management backstage at Raw. So there's a thought that this stems from his attack on Jinder Mahal and the Singhs on Raw. Meltzer made a point of mentioning how he was kind of reckless in German suplexing the pair of them. Particularly, I think Sunil Singh may have suffered a pretty bad landing. Thankfully, nobody in the segment was injured, but it sort of caught the attention of a lot of people that after Raw, everyone was focused on criticising Nia Jax for working unsafe, whereas just a few segments before, Lesnar had absolutely hoisted a much smaller man into the air and onto his head. But again, I think that's probably a combination of a lot of things, from his perceived recklessness on Raw during that segment, and also the fact that, you know, he's got this sweet deal for himself where he can swan in, win the Universal Championship, and then take mountains of time off. And especially when you compare that to the sort of average travelling schedule for any other Raw superstar, because as we all know, WWE superstars have one of the most grueling jobs on the planet. They're always travelling from city to city, wrestling multiple times a week. It's not just what we see on television. There are many, many live events and house shows to do, and then of course pay-per-views, things like that, promotional appearances. They've got all sorts to do. They're very busy, and Brock Lesnar doesn't seem to be that busy in comparison. So I do understand why this could, potentially be true. But again, in these sort of stories, we always have to be careful when we're talking about them, because whoever's reported it, in this case the Wrestling Observer newsletter, whoever they've got their source from, there's every chance that that source in particular could be, the person who dislikes, in this instance, Brock Lesnar. They could have heat with Brock Lesnar, but not necessarily provide a reflection of the wider feeling backstage, if you know what I mean. Just trying to speak in the interests of fairness here. But in this instance, I can definitely see why it would be true. Now, sticking with the newsletter, but moving over to SmackDown, there has been an update on an injury sustained by a SmackDown superstar, and that man is Luke Harper. Harper has reportedly undergone wrist surgery. He was supposedly seen backstage at SmackDown with a cast or sort of protective dressing around his wrist, which would suggest that, well, I don't know how long he would be out for, but which would suggest that he's not going to be doing anything in the near future. Then again, apparently WWE's reasoning behind this is solid. Apparently they encouraged him to go and have surgery because there's nothing really planned for him in the near future, especially with Eric Rowan recovering from a torn bicep. That injury, of course, was the one that derailed the Bludgeon Brothers push. It came at really bad timing for the Bludgeon Brothers, as it did come, I think, during a title defense to the New Day, and sort of derailed their whole push that had been going since just before WrestleMania. There are also rumours circulating out there of ideas being pitched backstage which revolve around Harper, when he returns from injury, joining back up with Bray Wyatt. Wyatt himself has also taken time off with injury too. The pair have a shared history, of course. Harper was part of the Wyatt family alongside Wyatt, Rowan and Braun Strowman. He stayed with the Wyatt family longer than Rowan did, longer than Strowman did, until Randy Orton got involved. Kind of made things a little bit awkward between everybody. But I can also see why this would be true. Harper's taken time off for injury. Wyatt hasn't done anything since he split with Matt Hardy, and there wasn't even really an official split. It was just Matt Hardy taking a step back from the ring. So I understand why this is a story and why this seems believable, and to be honest, I wouldn't be too surprised if Harper and Wyatt did join up once again. Of course, it would require one of them to switch brands, as Bray Wyatt's on Raw and Luke Harper is currently on SmackDown. I've realised that in this video I've been calling him Luke Harper quite a lot, whereas as we all know, his official WWE superstar name is just Harper now. And finally, it came out yesterday that Enzo Amore, or the man formerly known as Enzo Amore, Eric Arndt, had been kicked off a flight from New York City to Los Angeles. Why? Vaping. Sweet vaping, bro. Apparently, Amore, Arndt, whatever we call him, Real One, refused to listen to instructions from the flight attendants and refused to stop vaping. They had to turn the plane around, go back to the terminal. Not in the air, they didn't have to right, we're turning this plane around. They hadn't taken off yet. They had to turn the plane around, go back to the terminal and kick him off. There's a video on Reddit, pretty high up on Squared Circle, that you can see of a man texting his friend going, there's a guy on the plane getting kicked off, do you know who it is? And his friend goes, that's Enzo Amore. When he gets kicked off, you've got to say to him, how you doing? And then you see Enzo Amore walking down the aisle of the plane, and the guy goes, "How you doing?" And Enzo, to be fair to him, takes it pretty well, turns around and smiles. So I think watching that video, myself and everyone else who hadn't seen it yet were expecting Enzo to swear at him, lunge at him, something disruptive and sort of typically Enzo Amore, but he didn't. Just had a bit of a smile and a chuckle. So it's not all bad news, I guess. There's a silver lining to this strange old cloud. That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching this news video. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Remember that we are doing NXT TakeOver War Games reactions on Saturday night. That'll be a live stream, and our Survivor Series reactions will go out next week as part of a separate video. Thanks once again, and follow me on Twitter if you wish, at Jack the Jobber. Follow all of us if you want to at Cultaholic, and check out our Patreon too, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, if you haven't already, to hit subscribe and to join us.